Today I'm going to be checking the charge pipes, make sure it's not leaked any coolant as discussed in the previous videos. So there's a couple of ways to do this, but the way I'm going to be showing you is without draining the coolant. So first off, what I want to remove is this panel and this panel here. Want to remove the strut brace. So we've got 3 bolts on each side, and then we've got 2 bolts at the front. So these are a 13mm bolt. Hi Audrey, you alright? Okay, so I forgot to mention that we have got one more bolt here on the cooling tank. That's a 10mm, so make sure you get that one off as well. The next thing we've got to take off is the air filter. So what we've got a 6mm Jubilee clip here. So we'll loosen that off. We'll remove this coolant hose off of the air filter. We've got 2 clips here, which are push clips. So you push them in and that will just lift off. We've got the MAF sensor, which clip off, little tip, push it in, push it down, and then it'll pull off. And just releases the tension a little bit. And then what we've got this evap pipe here, which you've got to squeeze the flared out tabs. Again, pushing little tip, pushing it in will help release it off, and then you just pull it off. And the reason for removing the airbox is to get to 2 bolts, which helps us move the coolant pipes around for the charge cooler. So I'll just show you where they are quickly. They're E8 bolts, and there's 2 of them. So we've got one just here, which also locates into there. So that's so we can move these 2 pipes as a whole, along with a cooler, over to give us a bit of space. And it might be a bit difficult to see, but we have just got 1 bolt just there, which again is an E8 bolt, and that will give us a bit of movement room to move the cooler over without draining the system. So the next thing we want to do, coolant tank. Just release this bolt off. We're just going to place it over to the side a little bit, just to give us a bit more room to get to the charge cooler. So just like this, I've just popped it out of the grommet, and then we're just resting it here, which gives us a bit more room to get to these pipes with this bracket and these Jubilee clips here for the charge cooler. So what I'm going to be doing next is just going around and loosening all the hoses off for the charge cooler, and also unclipping the sensor for the charge cooler. So I'll just show you what I mean by that. So we've got 2 pipes here for the charge cooler. We've got 4 Jubilee clips. So I'm going to loosen all 4 off You probably could get away with just doing the 2 there, but it'll just make it a bit easier to move around. So I'm going to loosen all 4 off. And then we've got the little sensor here. Essentially, that's just the same to unclip as the MAF sensor, which I've shown you here. So little tab there, you just push down on it, push in if you can, and then that'll just pop off. Alternatively, if you see there's a little prong there, so what you could do, if you're careful, just get a small screwdriver, just slightly lift it off, and that should just pop straight off. And then we've got the J pipe for the charge cooler. So this is what we need to check in to make sure it's got no coolant in, because if this is faulty, it's leaking coolant into these pipes, it will leak into the J pipe, and then it will go into all the intakes, and it will just cause catastrophe in your engine. So this is the main reason why I'm checking this today, just to be sure that there's no coolant in there. So that's all the Jubilee clips loosened off, and also the sensor for the charge cooler. So what I'm going to go ahead and do next is loosen off the E8 bolts. These are what the bolts look like. They're not big at all. I've just cracked that off and then literally just used my fingers just to undo the rest of it. So what we've got next is we've just got the pipes on the bracket to a charge cooler that are in the way, so I'll just show you where they are. So this bracket here to a charge cooler is actually fixed to a charge cooler. We've got the EVAP pipe which ran to the airbox, so that's just on a little clip. So all you've got to do is just pop that off, pop it to one side. You can't move it too much, and do be careful with these EVAP pipes are known to be fragile, so just pop it off this little clip here and just let it move freely. We've then got the MAF sensor electrical cable, and that is also, it's just on a little U-clip. So all you've got to do there is just pop it out a bit seating, just pop your finger underneath it and then just push it up a little bit. Again, push that over to one side away from the bracket, so that when we pull up on the charge cooler, that's not going to be in the way at all. so it is a bit difficult to get out. So what I'm going to do, just to make things a little bit easier, is just remove the charge pipes, which starts by removing the other airbox, and then we can get to the bolts for the charge pipes. That is still quite tight when you're moving it. As long as you can see down this pipe, I'm not going to bother moving it any further because I can see where I need to now. So I'm just going to get the torch and I'll just have a look down this pipe and see what we're looking for. But I can see down the pipe perfectly fine, and there is no residue down there. So I'm more than happy with that. So ultimately, that was what this video was for, is to take the coil off, check inside the pipes and see if there was any evidence of the charge cooler leaking. You want to catch it before it does, because they are very common to leak. These factory ones, there's plenty of aftermarket ones out there that are just one piece, and they're a lot more durable than these ones. So all I'm going to do now is just put it back together and start it up. Okay, so we're back. I'm not sure what point the video went off, but we're all back together, and I'm just about to go pick the kids up. So let's start this up. So yeah, so started to perfectly fine as I expected. So thanks for watching this video. There was a couple of moments in the video, of course, where I could have done things a bit better, but that's the whole point of these videos.